Good evening, and welcome to another segment of the Music Corner. We're going to be discussing two bands that, in my view, are really one band. Well, they're really two bands, but we'll get into that in just a moment. The band I'm talking about is Circa Survive, out of around like mid-2000s, 2005. And the other band, the reason why I said what I said before is because they have some of the members of Circa Survive also in collaboration as a project with some of the members of RX Bandits, and that band is The Sound of Animals Fighting. First, we're going to get into Circa Survive. This is a band that holds a special place in my heart because I got into them when I was around 16 back in high school. A friend of mine at the time, I remember going over to his house and we just put on one of their songs from the album Juturna, their debut. We're going to take a listen to a song from their second album, On Letting Go. Phenomenal album. My favorite's probably Juturna, but their follow-up to their second album, I think it was their third, released around 2010 or 11, Blue Sky Noise, also really good. Their sound starts to change, gets a little bit darker, a little bit bleaker, but what I love about their very first two albums is just the trance that their music can put you into. And one of the things that I pointed out in a previous video that I did on RX Bandits is their use of two guitars working so just like seamlessly together, collaboratively. You'll hear that, you'll notice that as well when we get into some of the songs by Circa Survive. Now I need to note also the voice of Anthony Green is really from somewhere else. I mean, he's just a gorgeous man, and his voice is just, it's really something else. Again, it's perfect for their sound. It puts you into this trance-like state, and he can sing. I mean, the man is also just a really, really good singer. So with that, let us get into the listening. We're gonna start with a track off of their debut. It's called Stop the Effing Car. And also notice the drums. This is, I'll put names in the description of this video, but he's definitely one of my absolute favorite drummers. What he does, as opposed to just sticking to the beat, this is definitely some form of, I would say, just like a darker, it wouldn't be prog necessarily, but it's definitely, it has progressive rock elements embedded in its influence, I think, for sure. And just notice what the drummer does, because he's just staying, I mean, to me, it's like, I know this is nowhere near the jazz world, but when you listen to a drummer like Elvin Jones playing a really up-tempo groove, he's what I call a really busy drummer. He's not just playing the, you're keeping time on the hi-hat, playing, just like on the ride. He's using both cymbals so in sync, and when he's dropping bombs on the, it's a jazz term for like, you hit, you really whack the snare drum, or you hit the kick, bass drum, sort of out of surprise, right? And he was famous for doing this. Max Roach was famous for doing this really well. When we get back to music we call jazz, we'll discuss this for sure. I'll have a video upcoming that I want to discuss on jazz drumming. But here you can even notice the influences of the early 50s, 60s jazz, because this is a busy drummer, who's choosing to stay busy and do interesting stuff with the kit as opposed to just kind of sticking to the beat. So you'll hear what I mean in just a sec. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is, one more time, Stop the Effing Car by Circa Survive off of their album Juturna.
Don't be alone, I feel we're falling back.
light and cocaine.
Misleading most of supposed imposter renew you. And even if you open up, make contact with both at once.
I'll skip ahead as per usual.
Mistakes like this, and I'm just learning. This operation's been abandoned once again. Call me Jerry,
I haven't been listening. Stop talking to me. I haven't been listening. This operation's been abandoned once again. This operation's been abandoned once So that was Stop the Effing Car by Circa Survive off of Juturna. And now we're going to take a listen to another one. This is another aggressive one called Act Appalled off the same album. And it goes like this. Maybe you're mistaken for someone who cares.
It's not like it was before. To make them dream, tell them it's only one, no one leaves.
That was Act Appalled. And now we're gonna take a detour. We're gonna get to their second album by way of their third. So let's listen to a bit of their song Strange Terrain, one of my favorites. This is off of the album Blue Sky Noise. And we're not gonna listen to the entire thing. It's about 4 minutes, so we'll probably hear about half. And here we go. To be, to find out how it all works with so many partners, and nobody wants to sit behind the wheel, behind the wheel. Get back to place. You know, I'm sorry, I want to play that over because that's important. This is what distinguishes a band like Circa Survive from other bands that play similar music. You could call it like dark hard rock, I guess. But like, you know, most bands are just, again, they play the beat. This is 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's what you have the drummer doing. And then you have, actually, so I don't know if it's halftime and double time. It's certainly that, and maybe in combination with, well, I guess it kind of feels like a polyrhythm. I could be wrong. But anyway, it creates the effect. It makes it kind of trippy. But here that is. Here's that part one more time, and then I'll let it play through. We'll listen to another chorus, and then we'll just close it out, this track. Here it is. It's pretty cool. All right, so these last two are off of their album, I think it's from 2008, On Letting Go. The first one we're going to listen to is Close Your Eyes to See. And the next one, which is the final track, is Your Friends Are Gone. Wow, two of my favorites. Here we go.
We haven't searched for her. What I tried to say, this couldn't be more wrong. I can't believe it's happening or lasted this long. If we know each other, then why should it be so hard? Why should it be so hard to make it stop? If there are any answers here, we haven't said so secure. Nothing you ever planned on, never turned out the way you planned.
Somehow you have to see or hear the humor in the song, and we'll talk about that for a minute after. Although it is a very sad song. open up. You let yourself seem vulnerable. They fooled us once again.
And all your friends are gone. Nobody hears you. And all your friends will run.
Nobody cares.
And all your friends are gone. Nobody's
He's here with you. And all your friends will run. Nobody cares. So I said I'd talk for a minute, probably less, about why this is a humorous song. Let's start with why it's sad. Okay, well, the song is called Your Friends Are Gone. So it's kind of the theme of friends abandoning someone, being left alone, you know, feeling isolated, the feeling of loneliness, that feeling of betrayal, let's say. But what's funny to me is if you listen to the lyrics, so in verse 2, it starts out with, nobody wants to hear another story about how you couldn't write. A story about how you couldn't write. Now, if you know Anthony Green, you know he's quite the lyricist. He can certainly write. So this to me is so funny. It's like you have a story, you know, there's this narrative taking place through the song of a friend who is just kind of like a pest, you know, one of those people who like sadly is not the best writer, but is always like sharing his writing with friends who have to be polite, but really don't want to hear it. So, and to me, it's funny too, because I'll play that part real quick again, and you'll hear, just notice the guitar. it's almost a call and response when Anthony sings this part, but hold on. Okay, here we go. I find it funny. There's humor in it to me. I don't know if that's intentional or what, but to me it works. So now we're gonna move on, and I don't know. Sometimes I just don't have words for this band. Circa Survive is still one of my favorites, but it is the sound of animals fighting that we are moving into at this moment. So we'll talk after, but right now we're gonna just start with the intro to their second album, which to me is a much stronger album than the first. It's called The Ocean and the Sun. It was released in 2008, and it starts off with an intro that, if I'm not mistaken, is in Farsi, Persian, or Arabic, but it does sound like Farsi from what I know. And this is the intro, which goes into the title track of the album, The Ocean and the Sun.
مخلوقی را دیدم
Start over with the title.
در صحرا مخلوقی را دیدم عریان و برهنه جانورخویی که روی زمین چون باطمه زده بود و قلبش را در دستهایش گرفته بود آن را میخورد از او پرسیدم دوست من آیا خوشمزه است او جواب داد تلخ است تلخ ولی آن را دوست دارم برای اینکه تلخ است و برای اینکه قلب من است
now we're going to take a listen to a couple minutes of the song, track 4 off this album, called Another Leather Lung. Okay, so we'll leave it there. Now we're going to take a listen to 2 songs, or rather, the majority of one song and then just the first minute of the following. These tracks are called first Cellophane and then The Heraldic Beak of the Manufacturer's Medallion. These 2 are, well, Cellophane's my favorite off of this album, and The Heraldic Beak is also a close one. Trumpet solo kind of in the background. Alright, here's where it gets interesting. Picks up, changes. And we'll close it out with last track called Uzbekistan. Of course, it's 7.5 minutes long, so we'll only listen to about half of it. But first, the track that leads into it, which is just about 1 minute, called Chinese New Year. Here we go. So that's all for now. Again, two of my favorite bands still to this day. Discovered them in high school, and yeah, absolutely love their music. So hope you enjoyed this one, and check out definitely the first two albums from Circa Survive, Juturna, and On Letting Go. And Tiger and the Duke, which is the first album from Sound of Animals Fighting, also good. I just prefer The Ocean and the Sun. So that's going to do it. Stay well, and until next time, I'll see you soon.